And, I'm sure security is another aspect that I'm sure the property owners worry about. How is it possible to make, the appropriate security? How is the appropriate security ensured on a managed Wi-Fi property, from Cambium, Bruce?
Yeah, and we touched a little bit on this in one of the previous questions, but it is an important topic. It's probably something that the residents are not thinking about too much. Again, you want the Wi-Fi to just be a utility and you just connect and go. So we do provide a password called an EPSK in Cambium nomenclature, but basically when the residents sign up or moves in, they're provided this password. They then use it on their devices, and it is individual and unique just to them. And that's a big difference than maybe some Wi-Fi networks that you're used to. Think like, I don't know, you go into a dental office or the gymnastics studio or an airline lounge in the airport. I mean, different places like that I can just think off the top of my head that I've gone to where want to connect to the Wi-Fi, and they hand you a password, but it's the same password that everybody has. The personal Wi-Fi approach that we take here makes it an individual password, per tenant. They can onboard as many devices as they want, and then that provides enterprise-grade, non-hackable security for them as they move around the property, whether they're in their individual apartment or whether they're in a common location like the pool or the gym, as we showed in that previous graphic there. And that enterprise-grade security is very important. In those other kinds of networks or even open networks. So think about going to a McDonald's or Starbucks or a lot of places like that, even airplanes. You don't actually use passwords in many cases today to get onto Wi-Fi networks. So you have an open connection, and that is ripe for passwords and security credentials and financial information to be stolen. And so, this is something that we bake into our solutions from day one. It's a table stakes kind of assumption that you make when you're deploying Wi-Fi, and we provide the ability to do that very easily across these networks and scale to thousands of people in a property, right? I mean, you're talking large properties, you need a lot of passwords. This solution can scale to the thousands, many thousands, to support those large installations as well.
And I like that we learned a little bit about Bruce there, that he goes to the dentist, the gymnastics studio, Starbucks, and McDonald's. So, good to know.
Yeah, you can imagine I have several kids. Yeah.
Just to kind of like further that a little bit and taking it away from maybe just the resident facing bit is, when we deploy a network, we'll also include, a firewall in there, right? And that basically, we're looking at all of it, like I mentioned earlier. So we want to take care of the corporate network that's there as well, right? And the firewall secures the network, right? And primarily it's used to prevent cyber attacks and blocking malicious content from entering your network, things like this. Protects you from hackers and confidential data, all these sorts of things, right? And again, this just comes back to, I'll keep saying it, right? It's important to have that consultative approach to understand the environment with which we're working with. Every property is different, every business is different, and we need to understand that to put in a network that's not only simple to use, but is also secure.